most common feeling that we feel is completely out of balance, and we just want to find balance in our lives. Balance with our food, balance with our exercise, balance with work and life, balance with our emotions, balance with our relationships. We always keep saying that we're trying to aim to achieve this magical balance. And in our group coaching call recently, we had an amazing discussion about what even balance is, and does it even exist? And if so, it's different for everybody. So what is balance for me is not what balance is like for you. So rather than thinking about anything externally from us, okay, we need to stop thinking outside of ourselves. So stop focusing on the to-do lists, the tasks that we need to do, the job that we need to go to, the dishes that we need to clean, the food that we should be eating. All of those things are outside of our control. Some things we can control, for example, the food that we buy and the food that we're going to eat. Okay, they are our personal choice. But so many things in our lives are outside of our control, like our working hours. You know, if you're employed, you can't really control when you have to turn up to work. And we can't continue living in a space of energy where we feel like we don't have any control or choice over ourselves, you know, and that having a negative impact on our bodies, on our happiness, on our wellness, thinking, Christ, I only have 4 weeks off a year, you know, and always waiting for those 4 weeks, kind of spending the rest of the year resenting having to go to work, getting stuck in traffic, just the Groundhog Day feeling, and feeling out of balance with yourself. So how can we manage balance? One of the most amazing moments in my journey with Jay Shetty was the question when he asked, imagine all of those things were gone and taken away from you. Imagine everything and it was just you. Obviously, you know, not your children and your loved ones, but I touched the child. Oh, he's so good, honestly. Imagine all those things are taken away from you. What would you do then? What would you have to blame it all on? It's a powerful question. If it's just you and you're sat there, how do you get balance if you don't have any of those things? What are you trying to balance if there's nothing there for you to balance? And it made me realize how external a person that I was, always looking out beyond me to something else, to someone else as the problem. And I hadn't realized until he asked that question how little I spend with myself, how little thought, time, energy, feeling, any of it internally reflecting with myself. And, you know, a couple of my coachees, there was a lot of resistance at the beginning. They know who they are. There's a lot of resistance at the beginning of self-reflection, really going there, speaking to ourselves. It can feel yucky, it can feel icky, especially when we haven't done it for such a long time or ever. So we're just not trained to do this at school. We're not taught how to really self-reflect and connect with our emotions and energies, which is the reason why I'm here and this business exists. Because as women, if we can learn to do this, living in the present with ourselves, regulating our own nervous system after stress, anxiety, and trauma, we can learn how to do this so that we can teach these little ones how to do it. So finding the balance. When we are brave enough and courageous enough to reflect on our own behavior, our own habits, how we have been showing up energetically. Now, I'm a very masculine energy. So this is about our masculine and our feminine. Okay. So I'm going to go into that into a little bit more detail in a moment. And I can tell you that I am a doer, constantly thinking. I'm a creative, entrepreneurial. I've got idea after idea after idea after idea. And that can be a strength. It can be great, but it can also be a hindrance because I have a shiny object syndrome. And I'm like, oh, that looks good. And I get distracted. So I have to really focus in on my focus and stay focused. I have a very masculine energy. That's great for work. I was always excellent in school. Teaching, give me a project, give me a task to do, I'll do it, and I'll do it bloody well. It meant I wasn't very well liked at the beginning of my career because I came in and I kicked ass. Other teachers are like, who the fuck are you? Who's this new NQT? I mean, I was given the role of literacy coordinator within the first year of my job. And I smashed it. And we had Ofsted the following year, and I absolutely smashed it. And rather than being able to sit in a place where I could feel proud of myself, I had a couple of teachers who really disliked me. And at the time, I had no idea about boundaries and, you know, energy I should and shouldn't be taking on and absorbing from other people, and or fear of judgment and what other people say about me. And I was so focused externally on them and their feedback and their behavior, and not understanding that it was coming from their insecurity at the time, that it ate away at my confidence. And I really truly started to take on the belief that I wasn't ready for this role, I shouldn't be doing it, and all of the things, the feedback that I was hearing, I was taking on. I was not strong in my boundaries. I leaked the wrong energy. So let's talk about the energies, because this is a huge shift forward for you if you're resonating with any of this. So in our relationships, where can masculinity really kind of cause a bit of an issue? If we have two masculine people, we've got two bulls head on, face to face. Sometimes during certain tasks and activity, this can be great because we need to have a team on board and we need to be getting stuff done, and productivity and being assertive and making decisions and choices and energy, action orientated energy is great. It's great. Then we have the feminine side. What do we think femininity is? Which is really funny because this is a whole group just for women. I only coach women at the moment. I do have one or two male clients from friends of friends, but I do mainly coach women, and I can tell you 100% hands down, every single one does not feel comfortable in their femininity. And that is huge. That is huge for me as a coach. And I guess that's because, you know, we are living in stress, anxiety, and trauma, things in our past that have happened to us that have come up, and it has closed us off from our femininity. Okay. When we have had an experienced trauma, our nervous system is constantly reacting. And if we don't learn how to self-regulate and calm down and release any past traumas, we're going to be constantly fighting. And that can look like constantly overthinking, working in a space of masculine rather than a space of feminine. Feminine is being, feminine is receiving love, feminine is slowing down, being open and receptive and just listening and feeling calm. And so many of us find feminine hard because how can we receive anything from anybody else if we don't even know how to receive love for ourselves? And this shows up as huge resistance when you're coaching with me one-to-one or in a group format, either with my actual group coaching program or as just a monthly somatic circle that you may be visiting at the lowest ticket. £15 every month. It might just be enough for you to just, maintain and keep on with your self-development. But one of the biggest areas of resistance is feeling unable to give yourself self-love, loving praise and compliments. Very difficult to receive them from anybody else if we can't receive them from ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to share a screen with you. Hopefully this works. Just take a little minute to have a little look. You are all very, very clever women. I'm not going to read this out to you. Take a moment to just have a look at what feminine energy is and can look like, and the masculine energy. And what I really, really love about this picture and diagram, this is a resource with that I've put into the portal for my coachees. So you're going to be seeing this, ladies, when you log on. I love the fact that this shows the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine, as well as the unwounded and natural. Okay, so you will see how that appears. You can screenshot this. It'd be really good to screenshot it. Okay, and as you see these words, do any stand out to you as, oh yeah, I'm definitely that, I'm definitely that, I'm definitely that, I've got that hands down, that's definitely me? Or, oh yeah, no, I'm not so comfortable with this. I'm not very good at this. Oh, I would find this hard. And where on the scale do you feel that you are? Do you feel like you're tipping more towards, most of the time, one or the other? Because we're talking about finding the balance. And we are constantly shifting all the time throughout our day. Even in one day, we can be very masculine in the beginning, like me right now. I mean, I am on it this morning. I've done a live, I've done this, I'm doing a video, I'm working. I am working in a very focused, disciplined, and I don't know, I'm trying to find a word here, way. Where are you right now? You could be in the feminine right now. You could be feeling very still, feeling very connected with your own flow, at ease. Very interesting, isn't it, ladies, when you see it this way? Okay, and why is this important? This is important because the reason why you come to me for help is because you are single and you have perhaps experienced some very difficult relationships in the past. You want to find love and, get that amazing relationship that you deserve, but you keep attracting absolute toxicity towards you. The same thing keeps happening on repeat, and you're just not figuring it out for yourself. And you really want to finally get over that hurdle and make the changes necessary so that you can attract real, genuine love towards you. That might be one reason why you've come to me. And one of the other reasons is you are creative and you're beginning your journey in business but you are emotionally stuck and terrified, and the past is holding you back. So you're not putting yourself out there in the way that you want to be doing. So the confidence and self-worth and belief in yourself might be hindered. And there are many, many reasons why clients work with me, but those are two really big ones that I work with a lot. And this right here will really, really help, because in relationships, you know, our masculine energy can threaten, and our feminine energy can sometimes be misunderstood as just being passive and not giving into the relationship what's needed. And if two feminine energies meet with each other, it can create a lot of resentment and a lot of frustration. And as you can see in the wounded feminine, if it's not just two feminine energies, but two wounded feminine energies come together, you know, you've got feeling like a victim, manipulating, withholding, you know, a partner hasn't reacted in a way that you wanted or needed, and you were unable to express that to them and for yourself. So you perhaps withhold and you go silent treatment, things like this. And you can see in the list there, being very codependent on their reactions, the things that they're feeding into the relationship. You need that for you to feel good about yourself. You know, so there can be a lot of difficulty in the wounded feminine. And if you've got two of those, that's not good. That's not a good outcome. You know, that equals divorce, that equals toxicity, that equals a very difficult relationship. If you have wounded masculine, again, you've got a lot of aggression, a lot of fighting, a lot of criticism, a lot of abuse, there's more energy in that, there's more aggressiveness in a wounded masculine. And they overstep the respect boundaries. And if you have two of those together, again, not good. It's not a good outcome. However, if you learn this for yourself, you can learn to not only manage your own energy and know what energy you're in right now and what you are bringing to somebody else, but you can also know what you're receiving and have a different response, not reaction. Okay, very careful with the words that I choose here. They are very, very important, because we are learning to respond to other people. If you have a very aggressive masculine energy coming towards you, you do not want to meet that with another aggressive masculine energy. So you're going to want to step back into a feminine energy that is safe for you, that is good for you, and that kind of helps the other person get to a place of space and calm, so that the communication between you is better. You can only do that when you know this. Okay, so this diagram is just absolutely amazing. This may be, as you're watching this video, you may be sitting there reflecting, thinking to yourself, oh my God, like I wish I knew this. Like if you think back to a situation or a relationship, an argument, a fallout, anything in your life where you may have experienced difficulty, is that perhaps the reason? Where were you? Where were you in your wounded self? Which side of that diagram were you on? Which side was the other person on? And can you see where the conflict was? So a huge part of coaching together is figuring out exactly how to manage those energies. First, we need to know what they are. So today is bringing complete awareness to you for that, and then working on our somatic tools to help our body and our mind together regulate those feelings and emotions and help us identify them in the moment, because in the moment is just, that's when we react and we kick off. And if we do not think and pause and ask ourselves, hang on, what energy am I in right now? Okay, we need to learn how to regulate ourselves in the moment.